សួស្តីអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាជួបជាមួយខ្ញុំធីរ៉ូទៀតហើយហេតុនេះជួបជាមួយនឹង manager គាត់ឈ្មោះថា Brendan ដែលគាត់គឺជា manager ក្រុមហ៊ុន 208 Entertainment ដែលនៅក្នុងនោះមានតារាល្បីៗក្នុងជាច្រើនដូចជាបង Nikki ដូចស្មីបងសង្សុកសេរីជាដើមថ្ងៃនេះយើងមកជួបជាមួយគាត់ដើម្បីសាកសួរអំពី background របស់គាត់បន្តិចថាហេតុអីបានជាគាត់មកនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាហើយហេតុអីបានជាគាត់សម្រេចចិត្តថាខ្លាចជា manager ក្រុមហ៊ុនចម្រៀងនៅកម្ពុជាយើងសួស្តី Brendan
សួស្តីហើយSabay
So Brendan how come you came to Cambodia like how long ago and why did you like manage to be a manager in Cambodia?
It's always a good question. How do I end up here? So, well, I lived in Ireland and then I moved to Singapore for work. So I worked for Apple before. So I lived in Singapore and I used to visit to Cambodia every 6 months or so. So I always really liked it here. I did not like Singapore. I did not like the linear kind of concept of how people live there. I loved Cambodia. So after I finished my time in Singapore, I decided to go traveling. And I kind of promised myself that one day I'm going to live in Cambodia. So I said, okay, I'll come here for 3 months. Loved the community feeling, the smiling faces. It reminded me of Ireland a lot. So I was all right. I promised myself I'll live there. Came here for planned 3 months.
3 months.
And 3 months has now become 4.5 years. So and then the whole process of becoming an artist manager was actually purely accidental. So I met a person when I was traveling in Ho Chi Minh, and they happened to live in Phnom Penh. And so when I came here, we caught up and everything like that. And it turns out that they were the fashion designer for Nikki. So I ended up coming in on one of her video shoots to help on the fashion side, not shooting, not producing, just the fashion side. And then me and Nikki got talking, and because of my past experience, I gave her just advice here and there. And then one day she said, "Hey, why don't you be my manager?" And I went, I've never done it, but I'll give it a try. So I tried. It's worked out pretty well, and that's now been just over 3.5 years since me and Nikki started working together, and I built everything else from that.
So it's pure accidental.
100% accident. I mean, I had the experience, obviously, but to be an artist manager wasn't necessarily the plan. But you know, when life brings you these opportunities, you run with it, and so I ran with it, and it's worked out pretty well.
I dig up to your past a little bit, and I heard that you was an artist and a performer artist. So do you plan on like get back to performing and singing?
Well, I was a heavy metal singer, so I was not singing love songs or pop songs. I was singing hardcore heavy metal stuff. So and you know, I thought about getting back into it when I first came to Cambodia, but there's not a big heavy metal scene here. You know, there are a few bands that are doing it, but it's not really common here. But I do miss it. You know, I look at my old performances, I look at my friends who are traveling the world, and I think, man, I'd love to get back into performing. So me and a couple of artists have spoken here about doing a song together. So I've spoken with Sam Rocker, of course, about doing a song together. I've talked to P Sand about doing a heavy metal song together because he loves the heavy metal stuff. And then there's other bands that I really like Said to R do a cool mix of rock and heavy metal and stuff like that. So I'd love to do a song with those guys. So at some point, yes, I miss it too much. You know, once you're a performer and you feel the rush of being on stage, it's hard to give that up. So it's addictive.
So Brendan, what is like to be the manager and you managing Khmer artists or Khmer artists, and so what's like, because you're from Ireland, so what do you feel like something like cultural shock or something, like something different?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, Ireland is a small country. Ireland is smaller than Cambodia. It's half the size of Cambodia. So in that regard, I see some similarities between Ireland and Cambodia. But to be honest, when I came here, it was a case of just starting again and learning from the start. So the first year I was here, before I started working with anybody, was just listening and learning about Cambodia and learning about the way to do things. I mean, I'm still learning to this day. I don't have it 100%. There's always going to be that learning curve, but it was important to come into Cambodia without the kind of colonial mentality that a lot of foreigners come with, where they come in and they tell people what you're doing is the wrong way, do it this way. And in reality, here in Cambodia, they were doing a lot of really great things about music here. And who knows how to do Cambodian music better than Cambodian people? Of course, Cambodian people know the best. So it was a case of absorbing, learning, and then giving my experience to kind of point it in the right direction. But at the end of the day, it's really about me starting again, learning.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is that no matter how many, I did it for 10 years before I came here, and 6 years in corporate, it doesn't matter what you've done before. You come here, you start again, you swallow any pride or ego or anything else you have, and you start learning again.
Yeah.
And anyone who's going into a new country or a new place should learn to start again. And the advice I give to everybody is never be too proud to hold the bags. Because it doesn't matter how big the company gets, it doesn't matter how many artists I have. If somebody hands me the bag, I'm holding the bag. So never be too proud to hold the bag. So.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, utilizing the Khmer entertainment industry in Cambodia. Like, what do you think about it? It's like, what would it be in the next 5 years?
So, I mean, if you think about only when we started 3 years ago, not only us, I mean, there was other people involved.
Yeah.
It was almost entirely copied music, you know. So in the last 3 years, 2 to 3 years, original music has boomed.
Yeah.
And 3 years ago, people told us, you know, original music's not going to be successful here.
Yes, yeah.
And now it is. It's very successful. So, you know, what we're seeing is that more and more the Cambodian people are supporting Cambodian music, which is absolutely vital for any country in the world, for the music to grow and grow and grow. There's an increasing amount of monetization, which is important because obviously if these people are putting their heart and soul and everything into their music, they need to be able to make money to live and to make more music at the end of it. So thankfully people are starting to make money. And then the next step after that really is that, okay, the talent is there, the production quality is there, the kind of individual committed stars are there and the personalities are there. Now let's take those into the international world. Because right now if you go to the international community and talk about Cambodian music, they don't really know. You can go to southern Vietnam and they know about Sin Sisamod and Rasta Rai Sutia from the long time ago, but they don't really know about the modern stuff. So I think that when you take people like Nikki and others out and the international community see them, they go, oh wow, so that's what Cambodian music is like. And then it plays more, there's more and more an interest. I think it's possible because, again, if you look at the Irish industry, the Irish country is half the size of Cambodia and a third of the population, and yet we have some of the biggest superstars in the world. Like Westlife came from there, Boyzone, and of course Ronan Keating came here like 10 years ago. We have U2, we have The Script, we have all the, you know, the Cranberries with Zombie. So all of these huge stars come out of a smaller country.
I know.
So why can't Cambodia? Of course it can.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
the talent is there 100%.
So since you've been here for like 3.5 years, so you must know a lot of artists in Cambodia. So who are the artists in Cambodia that you respected the most in the entertainment industry?
Well, I'll say artists plus people in the industry. So
Plus the people,
because I mean, the first person I asked for advice when I came to Cambodia was Bon Vasal. It was Sok Vasal from Clap Your Hands. He's the first person I asked for advice when I came to the industry here. And he gave it to me. And so to this day, I still have huge respect for him because at the end of the day, Clap Your Hands were doing original music before anybody else was. You know, they were doing what a lot of us are doing now, but they were doing it, you know, 5-10 years ago. So to me, Sok Vasal and Clap Your Hands are really the pioneers of original music in Cambodia. So the credit has gone everywhere else, but the reality is it was those guys. Mia Soksapia. So I think that she's the original, or first original female pop star of Cambodia. So you know, a lot of people look up to her. She has a voice that's very influential, not just about music but about social issues. So I think that Mia Soksapia again was another example of somebody who was doing this stuff before anybody else was. So and then Bong Sila from Sabay. So I know it's probably a little bit of a, I know I'm being interviewed by Sabay, but at the end of the day, he had the vision. He had the vision to do all of this stuff and to put together Sabay. He invests in the cinema here. He invests in movies, TV shows. So at the end of the day, all of these people were visionaries. All of these people saw what's happening now before I was ever here and before a lot of us were even doing this. So, you know, to me, coming from the heavy metal industry, we always pay respect to the people that came before us. And these are the people that came before us. I wouldn't be doing anything here if these people hadn't done it first. So everything that I do, I always think back to the people that were pioneers before I was here. So yeah, I think that in order for an industry to keep going, it has to acknowledge the people that built it. So
yeah. Okay. So this is the last question, and I just want to take it to another direction because we were talking about the pioneer, the people that are making the entertainment industry together, and it's like now I'm just talking about the people, the next talent, the young talent that they want to jumpstart their music career or acting career or something. So, what kind of advice that you would tell them before they came to the industry?
The eternal question that has a million answers. So at the end of the day, everybody gets into the entertainment industry for different reasons. Whether they just love singing or performing, or they love acting, or they love modeling, fashion, whatever side of the industry they get into. Sometimes they get into it because they love the glamour or the fame, the attention or the money or whatever. Whatever reason they get into it is up to them. But the most important thing is that they stay true to themselves, because at the end of the day, the entertainment industry is filled with predatory people and manipulators. So the industry as a whole is built to that the industry wins, the businesses wins, the company have the control. And because there's always another, the mentality is there's always another talent that's going to come along and replace one. So it's important that people stay true to themselves, because even no matter what, if nothing works out, at least you have who you are left over at the end of it. So, when people offer 2-year, 5-year contracts, be very careful about your signing, because, we might think, okay, we're young, or the person might think they're young, it's a 2-year contract, a 5-year contract, but, the time frame on a career isn't huge, and so a 5-year contract can be a lifetime, and 2 years disappearing can be like an 8, so be very careful with who you work with. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Just get advice from people. Check what the contracts you're signing. And I reiterate and say it again and again and again: be true to who you are. Do not ever forget that, because no matter what happens, if the industry spits you out at the end of it, you still have who you are at the end of it, and that isn't worth. There's no money in the world that's worth giving that up. So stay true to who you are, no matter what.
អរគុណអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នាដែលបានទស្សនាវីដេអូនេះតាំងពីដើមរហូតដល់ចប់ហើយខ្ញុំធីរ៉ូចង្ឃឹមថានឹងជួបអ្នកទាំងអស់គ្នានៅវីដេអូក្រោយៗទៀតពេលនេះខ្ញុំជាមួយនឹង Brendan សូមអរគុណសូមជម្រាបលាបាយបាយ